what to you stood out the most in a positive way and then a negative way, just about your group and how they progressed so far this year?
I've been really encouraged about the way the four of them, have worked together as far as Deuce and Cody and Eli and J-Ball. I mean, they've really grown together as a group. Feel confident about putting any one of them on the field. I think Deuce and Cody have earned themselves into a position of getting equal reps as Justin and Eli. And that's the last game. We pretty much were balanced right around 44 for the first group and 41 for the second group. And so we feel good about that rotation. Anytime you got a chance to put four guys on the field instead of two, they're going to play faster with 40 snaps as opposed to 85.
I know this is something I've asked Justin about before, but from your standpoint, where do you feel like he's at just confidence-wise, getting back from the knee surgery and trying to trust the knee and everything this year?
I think Justin, very smart player. He understands the scheme. He understands where he needs to be, and that's what allows him to be on the field. I think his knee is probably not, I'm guessing, I haven't seen film of him before the knee. I wouldn't say he's 100% of where he probably was, but I think he understands how the knee affects him and what limitations it may present for him.
Appreciate it, Steve. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, John.
Adam?
Coach, how do you feel about this group of linebackers that you have now going up against another very talented offense with Chuba and the talented air attack Oklahoma State has as well?
Yeah, been an awesome group to work with, first of all. I appreciate everything that they've done so far this year. I think as I look at it, I think, a guy like Deuce has really tried the last 4 weeks to apply himself and understanding what he needs to work on, to put himself in a position to make more plays, which is going to be important for all four linebackers. I think Cody is a tremendous special teams player for us and gives us unbelievable reps at linebacker. But I think all four of them, especially three of the four, understand how important their angles are and their ability to keep the cup, putting their body in position. Eli is probably the most athletically talented and fastest of them. And Eli can probably sometimes get away with bad angles because he can put his foot in the ground a little bit quicker. But I think, the running backs we're going against are similar to the guys we've gone against when I was at Syracuse and ATN. And they're both very good backs. And we're going to have to do a great job keeping great angles, great leverage on. We're going to have to swarm them. And in order to slow down a running back, two running backs of this caliber, you got to hit, you got to tackle, you got to drive them to the ground, and you got to get 3 or 4 people on them. And then from a quarterback standpoint, he can run. Spencer can run, he can throw. He's definitely a dual threat quarterback, and we got to stop him from running with the football first, and then obviously take care of the great receivers they have out on the perimeter.
Derek?
Hey, Coach, looking further down your linebacker depth chart, is there any young guys that are progressing enough that makes you tempted to throw them out there and into the fire?
I'm really encouraged about the younger backers we have. There's a whole list of them that are really doing a great job of applying themselves mentally and physically. They're eager to learn. I look at Austin Moore, Nick Allen, and we moved Ryan over there, Henny. From safety. He's a travelman, I guess. He came here as a quarterback and then a safety and now a linebacker. And you talk about a guy who wears you out as a coach as far as wanting to learn. He's up here all the time, and you never want to tell a young man no, but sometimes you got to tell Ryan, hey, man, we don't have enough time. We only can give you 20 hours a week, So, but he's eager to learn too. You got Levi Archer, who's a talented kid that can run. So I'm encouraged about the future at that spot with these young guys and their attitude towards learning and developing.
How would you describe your first year in the Big 12 and what you've kind of seen from the offenses in this league compared to other places you've been?
So far, there's a ton of similarity. It seems like the whole Big 12 goes to a convention, decides they're all going to run the same offense because a lot of Y-off, athletic tight ends that they're going to move around, flex out, bring them in. Not a lot of Y on the line of scrimmage, a lot of Y-off. A lot of plays that we consider similar, run game wise, pass game wise. A lot of RPOs and similar pass routes. So you got to be athletic, to play in this league. You got to recruit, from my position, linebacker wise, you got to recruit athletes who can run. You don't need 6'3", 245-pound linebackers. You got to take on ISO. You got to have guys that can cover ground, can tackle in space, and are very aware of their the routes that are going on around them. So it's you got to stop the run. There's good running backs in this league, but the ball's thrown around from horizontally to vertically.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Last one here, Ryan.
Hey, Steve, on that point you just brought up, when you're saying so many of the Big 12 offenses run kind of somewhat similar schemes, I mean, does that make it easier week to week, or no, because it really just depends on the talent of the offense that you're facing?
And I say that to this point, of the ones that we faced. Yeah. So I still have, I think, Iowa State, I think is a little more diverse personnel wise. But a lot of people like 11 personnel and 10 personnel in this league. But yeah, it does. There's carryover week to week as far as the runs you get and some of the routes you get, but everyone has their own little bit of twists. And then obviously the talent of who you're going against has a lot to do with how you're going to defend things, whether the talent on the perimeter with the receivers or at the running back position. And then also, is the quarterback a runner? And when he's a runner, it can change the dynamics of how you defend it. But yeah, it helps. It helps. There's, a lot of the same runs week in, week out. We should be continuing to get better and better at fitting those runs.